Ok, on va commencer. Donc, bonjour. Bonjour. Bienvenue tout quelqu'un à la nouvelle bâtisse de l'École Pointe-au-Chien. Donc, moi, je suis le président de l'école ici. And I'm so happy to see you all here. And so we'll have remarks from a few different people, notably our governor, Gouverneur Edwards. But we're really so happy to see so many people here, and we're so grateful for everyone who made this a possibility. I don't know if y'all remember, but about 2 years ago, the Pointe-aux-Chênes Elementary School was closed, and everyone said, or a lot of people said, it's never going to open again, and it's definitely not going to open as a French immersion school. And so we're so happy that not only did we get a school reopened here in Pointe-aux-Chênes, but we got a French immersion school opened. And so thank you so much to everyone who made that possible. Speaker Pro Tem McGee, Governor Edwards, our allies in the legislature like Representative Houval, and then all of y'all who are kind of pushing every day and making this reality. And so, à cette heure, on va présenter Christine Verdun, qui est la directrice de notre école, pour parler un petit brin. Mais avant ça, on va faire le Pledge of Allegiance en français.
Mes amis, ok, venez ici, un peu, ok, c'est ici, ici, ok, on commence. Je jure ma fidélité au drapeau des États-Unis d'Amérique et à la République qu'il représente, une nation sous Dieu, unie avec liberté et justice pour tous.
Ils vont chanter à ça aussi. À ça. Oui, oui.
After?
No, right now.
Right now, yeah.
And then we're also going to have a little song.
You ready for this one?
Dans sa maison, un grand cerf, regardé par la fenêtre, un lapin venir à lui, et frapper ainsi. Où une chasse avec du roi, lapin, entrez bien, me serrer la main. Dans sa maison, un grand cerf, regardé par la fenêtre, un lapin venir à lui, et frapper ainsi. C'est, ouvre-moi, où une chasse avec du roi, lapin, entrez bien, me serrer la main. Dans sa maison, un grand cerf, regardé par la fenêtre, un lapin venir à lui, et frapper ainsi. C'est, ouvre-moi, où une chasse avec du roi, lapin, entrez bien, me serrer la main.
Okay, we're going to say a prayer, though.
I don't think the mic is on. You want to say it?
First of all, I want to welcome y'all, and we're going to say a prayer, and then I'm going to go on with my speech. Aunt Esther is going to say, lead us in prayer, so if everyone would mind standing.
Pour célébrer l'ouverture de la Pointe-aux-Chênes. Et merci pour tous qui parlent de ça, le gouverneur et tous les autres canopistes et tous les autres parts de ça qui nous ont aidés pour faire ça. Et que les enfants ici dans le voisinage peuvent apprendre à parler français et notre français peut continuer comme les vieux temps. Et merci, bon Dieu, pour tout. Amen.
Amen.
Y'all can hear me though, huh?
Yeah.
I'm loud.
Well, here it is. Okay.
That'll be too loud. So welcome everyone. Like Will said, we didn't think, a lot of people, and sometimes I had my doubts too, that we'd be here today. So I'm going to start by going way back. And, this is here now, but our tribal people started these thoughts of opening a French immersion school a long time ago. It was just kind of talk. People would say, man, I wish we had our own French school, da-da-da. And so then time passes, and so we decided that we'd maybe put that to the test and ask for it. So we did. We went through what the state had, their regulations about starting a charter school. Actually, we wanted a French immersion school. So we got all our signatures from parents, kindergarten, pre-K. We brought them to the superintendent, and it wasn't in their plan. So 2 years later, we did it again, and again, it wasn't in their plans. And sometimes God works in mysterious ways, because after that, they decided to close the school. And I had already been through the closing of school when I was at Boudreaux Canal. They closed us down, and we had to move. And so then here this happens again because of student count. We had right 100 students, same as Boudreaux Canal. And when that happened, I thought, well, here we go again. Another school's going to close. And even with the parents, the parents in the community went out and petitioned and protested, and it still didn't work, so they ended up closing the school. So to close the school, the children went to Montague that year, 2021, and then the storm came. And the storm was terrible, but after that, we decided, well, going through, our school system wasn't working, so we decided we'd kind of get together and start calling our state reps and senators just to tell them what it is we wanted, our plans, and to see if they could help us. And it worked. And when we spoke to our local legislators, we had Beryl Amadi, we had Tanner McGee, we had Jerome Zarang, Mr. Angeron, Mike Fessy, and they listened to us, and they supported us, and they went they went to Baton Rouge and their home, and they started talking it up, and we went. Several people took trips, to talk to the people there, the senators and representatives, and it passed unanimously in the House and the Senate. And through all this, our governor was the biggest support, because it was in his hands after that, and we're really thankful for him understanding why we want this school, and we plan on growing. So our school went through the state, so we're a state school. We're a public school, but it's a state school. It's separate than the regular school system. So we started this year, and we started with 7 kids, and now we're up to 9. We're planning on getting a bus, and hopefully we'll have more students come. But in the meantime, this building was not ready. And it's July, and we're planning on opening, and we have nowhere to go. So we contemplated the Baptist church, and they had issues. We contemplated the Catholic church. They had no AC. And several of our tribal members attend Vision Christian. And Pastor Kim and Miss Vanessa offered for us to start our school there. So that's where we're at currently. We're at Vision Christian. We want to thank you for that, because we're very appreciative. That was a godsend. So now we're almost in this building. We plan on moving during Thanksgiving holiday. So hopefully when the kids come back to school after Thanksgiving, the parents will be dropping them off here. So we have obstacles. Our parents have to take their kids, pick them up, and they have to send them a lunch. And so I want to thank my parents for doing that, for having enough faith in us, and bringing them to us. And we have 2 children that are not here because they're ill. But the kids, and we were talking about that earlier when Will and them came at the beginning, our kids would just, it was like the first day, so they weren't speaking, and to see them, you know, sing a French song, say the pledge in French, and they speak to each other in French, it's really something very positive, and they go home speaking French. The grandparents speak French, but the parents don't know what they're saying. So in order to bridge that gap, well, let me go back. I need to introduce my faculty. So my name's Christine. I'm the executive director. When we thought about a name, I really didn't want anything, but that's what we chose. And Sharon is our assistant director. And let me see where all my teachers are. Madame Owens is one of our French teachers. She drives from Thibodeau. And Monsieur Gueton comes from Bordeaux, France. He's our French and math teacher. And everything's taught in French. The kids have 60% of their days in French, and 40 is in English. Our ELA teacher, however, is not here today. Anyway, on a positive note, we're looking to buy a bus. Oh! I forgot about my nurse, and she has 2 jobs. Actually, she signed up. She didn't know she was signing up for more than 2 jobs. But anyway, Kaylee Nakan is our nurse/para. So she's got 2 jobs, but she got more jobs than that. And then I want to acknowledge our school board members. Mr. Donald is on our board. Jesse's here somewhere. And Melissa Vigry is on our board. Jade is here somewhere. Where is she? Jade is on our board. And Caitlin, where's Caitlin? Caitlin Orgeron is on our board. And who else am I missing? I think that's Will's our president. Let me make sure I haven't missed anyone. If I did, oh yes. So if you noticed all the photos around, that was done by Audouin, who works for the consulate's office, and Ryan. They were our photographers. Well, they've taken numerous photos here down in Pointe-aux-Chênes, but this last culture camp, they spent the whole week with us. So a lot of these photos come from there, and they're beautiful. I want to thank them and the consulate's office for paying for these. They're for our school. So I really appreciate that. And my kids. I'm really thankful for my kids, and we're hoping that next year we'll have plenty more. I want to thank Mr. Jimmy for coming, and Governor, thank you so much for taking the time to come down here. This is the second time you come, and for our tribe. And when you signed the bill down in Pointe at the tribal building, and to take your time to come here, Consulate, thank you so much. And we're looking forward for you to coming down to Bayou and eating our food and taking a boat ride and seeing some of this firsthand. Yes, Joseph, Coderfield office is here. Thank you all for coming all the way here to be with us. Appreciate it, State Department. Now I'm going to introduce the governor, and I'd like for you to come and say a word.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. It is a pleasure to be down with you all again and to celebrate the beginning of something that is, I think, going to be just fantastic, not just for this community, but primarily for this community, but for our state. And I do want to thank the Consul General for being here with us this morning. And I think one of the ways we can demonstrate the importance of our French language, history, culture in Louisiana is the fact that we have a Consul General, a real Consul General. Just about every other nation, they will have honorary consul generals, and we love them, but they don't really come from the government of the country that they represent. They are local citizens, and they were given an honorary title. But in Louisiana, we're very blessed to have really good relations with the French people and the French government, and so we have the real deal. And I thank you so much for being here today, and I think that demonstrates the difference. Representative Mike Huball, thank you so much for coming over from Breaux Bridge. He is a French-speaking member of the legislature, and I stand before you someone who doesn't speak French, and I really regret that I didn't take it. Wasn't offered. It wasn't like I chose not to take it, but in North Tangipahoa Parish, where I went to school, it wasn't offered. I didn't come from a family of French speakers, and so quite frankly, I think I'm at a disadvantage in the world today. And I look at these young people, these kids here, these beautiful kids, and I think how blessed they are. And this Thanksgiving, they have a lot to be thankful for, as we all do, but including this school that they're going to come back to. And then in a couple of years, the larger school just up the highway that will be renovated. So I'm excited about that. So we obviously are working very hard to make sure that our French roots are strong and vibrant. There is an oak tree planted in the governor's mansion, and there is a plaque on it. And it says, "From small acorns, big trees grow." Can you say that in French?
Acorn, c'est quoi? Des glands. Des glands.
Yeah.
Des petits glands. Des glands, ça
Okay, so we can say it in French. We just have to discuss it a little bit. But y'all all did much better than I could do. But I think that is appropriate this morning, both as it relates to these children, because they're acorns right now, but they are going to be really big trees. But they're going to be trees who know how to speak French. And then this school is a very small school right now, but it's going to get larger in the not too distant future. So the school is growing as well. And this is what we're trying to do in our state. So this is the only French immersion school that is state-run in the state of Louisiana. But if I'm not mistaken, it is the only French immersion school of its kind in the United States of America. So I hope, as difficult as the struggle has been, and I've saw the letters out there dating back to 1933, I think it was. Hopefully you all see that we're making real progress now. This is critically important to us. And I think something was said a little earlier that demonstrates how important this is if we're not to lose our links with the past. And that is that these kids come here and they learn in French and they go home to parents who don't speak French, but the French is being reinforced by the grandparents. If we had gone one more generation, it would be exponentially harder and probably would never have happened that we would hang on to this. And so I'm thankful for what you all are doing. I apologize that it's been so hard. I can tell you have full partners in the state government because we believe in what you're doing. It's not lost on me. This school wasn't closed because of Hurricane Ida. The decision was made locally to close it before the hurricane hit. And then the hurricane obviously made it much more difficult to reopen the school. But it is going to be very important because as we go forward, and I hope it never happens, obviously, but if there are ever budget cuts again in education and they start scouring the budget and they see, oh, you got this school down there and you only have 27 students or whatever. So I'm just going to encourage you all, really grow this school. When the transportation is put in place, when the lunchroom facilities come online, really grow this school. First of all, it's the best thing you can do for your children and your grandchildren. It's the best thing you can do for this community. But it's also going to be how you can ensure the future viability and success of the school. And so I just wanted to mention that for you all. I do want to tell you, too, that in October, I was able to send a letter requesting that Louisiana be a full member of the organization Internationale de la Francophonie, and that was my English version of that. I can say the OIF, but I think that's going to be very important for our state as well. We mentioned Representative Huball. I know that Tanner McGee was the member of the legislature who met with me most often from the very earliest days that this was a concept and he was trying to round up support. And so he worked very hard with us, with the Department of Education, with legislators, obviously, to get support for this school. And so I did want to thank him, and I know he is unfortunately absent today. So with that, I'm just going to thank y'all for the opportunity to come down here. This is exciting for me to see these young people learning in French. And by the way, they're not going to be smarter, better educated, and so forth just because they speak French. But the way they learn is going to benefit all of the courses that they teach. And they will do better overall than kids in non-French immersion schools. And you all are going to see this. And so as a result, this school is going to pay dividends for years to come. And Christine, it's so good for me to see your enthusiasm, which has got to be infectious, right, across all of the people here. So thank y'all for the opportunity to be down here today. I wish you absolutely nothing but the best of luck, and I am confident that the best days of Louisiana are ahead. Thank you all, and God bless.
Merci beaucoup. And we really can't thank Governor Edwards enough, and I just wanted to give a little shout out. I don't know if many people know this, but in fact, before Governor Edwards came in, the Code-of-Fill budget was just about $150,000, a little bit less than $200,000. And under Governor Edwards' leadership, we've gotten it up to $600,000, $700,000 with bipartisan support. And then through his funding for the school and other initiatives, we estimate that approximately there's $4 million a year that's spent on French in Louisiana. So from $200,000 to $4 million a year. So I think that's a really huge victory. So that's enough for me. Astor, le consul général de France en Louisiane, Rodolphe Sombou, va parler avec nous autres. Merci beaucoup.
Bonjour à tous. Bonjour les enfants. Governor John Bell Edwards, members of the Pointe-aux-Chênes tribes, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, chers amis. We are gathered here today for a historic moment. Today is not just about the inauguration of a building. It's about the reaffirmation of a culture, the revitalization of the French language, and the rekindling of a community spirit. Today we are opening more than just doors, we are unlocking potential. This school is a testament of the resilience of the Pointe-aux-Chênes people, a beacon of hope that will guide youth towards a future, even more pride, deeply rooted in the knowledge of who they are and where they come from. I'd like to acknowledge those who've made these schools possible. First of all, the entire Pointe-aux-Chênes Indian tribe, Mr. Donald Dordar and Chucky Verdun for their leadership, and of course, our dear friends and dear colleague as director of the school, Christine Verdun. Next, I would like to thank all the members of the Louisiana Legislature that supported this endeavor. State Senator Mike Fessy, State Senator Mike Hoover, State Representative Tanner McGee, Representative Jerome Zerang, State Representative Beryl Amity, State Representative Joseph Orgeron, and last but not least, Will McGrew as president of the school. To the educator who will breathe life into this school, your role is pivotal. This has been proven repeatedly, as Governor rightly mentioned, through the 41 French immersion schools and 5,500 students all over Louisiana. At the Consulate, we are proud to support this school and bilingual education more broadly. Research and our own experience have shown how exposure to another culture and another language can create more opportunities for children and broaden their horizons, and this will infuse for years to come, as you rightly mentioned. To this effect, we are happy to welcome Gaëtan Lombard, one of the 115 teachers from France in Louisiana, thanks to the long-standing educational agreement between France and Louisiana. Lastly, I would like to turn to the parents, the families, and the students. What an exciting journey you're embarking on. We pass you the torch, and as we say in Louisiana, Lâche pas la patate. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
So à ce on va avoir le député Mike Huval, who came all the way down from Bayou-Teche, Pomvo, and unfortunately will be leaving the legislature this year, but we still plan to rely on him to keep continuing his legacy and fighting for French in Louisiana. Donc, bien merci.
Bien merci à Will pour m'inviter à être avec vous autres aujourd'hui. C'est très important pour continuer la langue de français. I will continue in English because I know not everybody speaks French. I made the mistake one time of telling a joke in French, who I thought everybody spoke French. At the end of the joke, I think 2 people laughed. So I learned my lesson now. I'll speak some things in French because I think it's important, but I will speak also in English. You know, during the legislature, Tanner sits right next to me, and he had an idea of bringing money to an area in his district, Pointe-aux-Chênes. And for me, it was a slam dunk. That was like falling off a log for me. But Tanner saw the importance of the language in his area, and I supported Tanner, and I said, look, anything I can do for you, Mike Huval is with you. So Tanner took the bull by the horns, but also your delegation, as was spoken earlier. Even though they may not speak French, they realize the importance it is to continue the language of French. There are parts in our state now where French was the only language spoken. New Orleans was one of those. Natchitoches is one of the oldest towns, maybe the oldest town in our state, and French was the only language spoken there. Chances are, if you go to either one of these towns, you cannot find somebody in the community that speaks French. That's not a good thing, but we're here for a good thing. We're here because, as the governor said earlier, we almost lost the language completely. So why do I speak French? When I was a kid, everybody in the family spoke French at social gatherings, at the drugstore, at the grocery store. So they didn't have to teach me to speak French. I learned to speak French because if I wanted to be part of the conversation, I spoke French. So that was easy for Mike Huval. My parents spoke French. My grandparents spoke French. Now after me, this is what we need to keep children coming to these schools. French immersion is in places that you would have never thought about. There's a French immersion school in Rapides Parish. There's a French school in Lincoln Parish. There's a school in Calcasieu Parish. There's one, I think, West Jefferson. So the parents have realized, even though you all realize it's your language, you want to save it, and I'm with you on that. But even the parents who send their children to school for French immersion, they realize that speaking French and learning in French, the grades of a child are better. It's proven. It's not hearsay. It's proven. And I want to thank the governor. I want to thank the council. The governor has been a great supporter of French in our state, whether it's Coderfield, whether it's the schools, whether it's just supporting Will's program. I don't know of any other governor, unless in older times when everybody spoke French, perhaps, that is supported like Governor John Bell. And even though he doesn't speak it, he realizes the importance of this. So he set a level now for the governors after him to realize the importance it is for this state and for this area. You know, a few years ago, I was at the Capitol, and there were 2 gentlemen from this part of the world, from Pointe-aux-Chênes. And I went up to them, and I said, where are y'all from? He said, we're from Pointe-aux-Chênes. I said, well, I'm from Brobridge. But our accents were almost similar. So I asked him, said, est-ce que vous parlez français? Absolument. So our conversation continued in French that time. So it's good that you all come to the Capitol. And look, whether we have 6 or 12 or 3 or 4 people there that speak French, we need to continue it in our legislature so we can continue being part of this Francophone. It's worldwide. We were fortunate because some of us speak French. That's why it began. So anyhow, enough from me. But again, I can't thank the governor. You imagine the governor is here in Pointe-aux-Chênes. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. He realizes how important it is for the state. He's here to support y'all. I can't thank him enough for coming. I come from Brober this morning, 2.5-hour drive. I enjoyed the drive here. It's a beautiful area. But he's a great person. He's done great things for our state. Unfortunately, he, as all of us, our time as serving comes to an end. But Governor, thank you for everything you've done for us in the French especially and everything else. And thank you also, Consul General. But the people I really want to thank the most is those of you in this room that realize that we will persevere, we didn't give up, we're going forward, we're going to save our language. Bien, merci pour l'invitation pour être avec vous autres aujourd'hui. Je souhaite vous venir encore ici à Pointe-aux-Chênes dans le temps qui vient. Bien, merci.